is you interlock the two.
Now stretch them quite as...
Soccer. And the...
Quiet, please. In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
I felt like a reptile. Like a reptile. I felt like a reptile.
Well, we've used that one before. That was the first one, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Oh, it's Aftermath. Aftermath. We've got loads of stuff on the channel. Just not just dropping hints, but go and check out the other shows.
This is our plug.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's nice. So we've got 3 options today, is it?
Yeah.
We've got this one.
That initially sent me, because I did that, it reminded me of the word moon, which is, whenever I hear moon, I think of Endor.
So then you've got Centre Parks.
Which is essentially redwoods, but that covers it a
So
bit.
is that an Ewok trodden footpath?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we put Wicket in the...
Well, I don't want to correct you, but it's definitely not Wicked.
It's not.
No.
I knew. You know, as
As
I was
soon as
saying
you said it, I was
I'm
like, oh, we've just lost 4 subscribers.
well, at least it's not Ollie. You don't even know what Star Wars is. I almost said Centre Parks there. Who's this then?
He's Chief Boogada Boogada. I don't know.
You don't know?
He looks a lot like my dog, so he could be Chief Ben.
Chief Bonadidente.
I don't know why the Ewoks and Wookiees weren't more in sync, because they were like, hey,
Yeah.
you get it?
Yeah.
Too obvious.
Yeah.
Too obvious.
Yeah. I think the Wookiees had more human eyes though, didn't they?
Yeah, but did you see it, on the Solo movie where they get these, they fly to like, it was a mine, like I don't know, it was in a rock.
Yeah.
And there was a load of slaves like mining away, and some of them was Wookiees. The one that, because obviously it was the Han Solo and Chewie story, and this is what I'm selling to Libby, because she's massively into Star Wars. Or she was into Star Wars because I got her into Star Wars. Then she got friends with a girl at school who was like, oh, Star Wars is rubbish. And I was like, and she kind of broke it to me like an adult would. She was about 7 at the time. She's like, I just need to talk to you, Dad. I'm not into Star Wars anymore.
Oh,
and I was
no.
like, poof. All right, darling. And I kind of had to like suck back the tears, play it off, easy. But then when she met V, and she realised that
V loves Star Wars.
Cool cats can be into Star Wars, she's all back on it.
Wicked.
In fact,
what is going on here?
One of the things to hit you with I'll tell you that in a second, because we're on Wookiees. The Wookiee that's in the mine is obviously malnourished, but it looks like a really bad waxwork. You know when you've got like Madame Tussauds and it's incredible, and then you've got that one at Blackpool which is like someone left it in front of a 5-bar fire for a bit too long.
It's like kind of melted a bit of straw.
Yeah, it kind of scarred her a bit, because she's like, I love chewing. What's happened to him? And I was like, oh, he's not been fed for a while, darling.
Yeah.
And it kind of took all the fur. They went a bit too excessive. Yeah, but that's why we ended up with Endor.
Okay, so we've got Endor, and we've got one more after this.
Yeah, because that wasn't obvious enough. So, fuck it.
Oh, that's good, isn't it? That's good.
They're
shooting, but it's never any use, is it? I mean,
No.
they don't hit anything.
By far my most favourite vehicle in Star Wars.
It's just sitting right there, look. Which everyone keeps knocking with their elbow. I know.
But the thing is, I can
keep
knock
telling
it because it's my toy. So, but
That's good, isn't it?
mate, just how cool was?
Oh shit!
Now it's blown up. But yeah, it was the
I've
best.
just got the what's it called? I've just got the Lego helmet to sort out. Oh, we got new action figures.
Have we?
Yeah. So someone that my mum looks after their child, I believe, and I said to my mum, what's his name, so I don't forget, so I can give him a shout out. And it's so easy to remember because it's American Dad, Steve Smith.
Nice.
So he sent us. He was like, "Oh, I was watching the podcast the other day, and I knew I had some laying around." So he sent them over.
Nice.
So you can tell me who they are. I think I know who this one is. That's $1
is-
Million Man, right?
No.
Is it not?
Look at his face. He's doing this.
Is it Hacksaw Jim Duggan? Is
yeah.
it really?
Beautiful.
See, I thought that was $1 Million Man.
Yeah, and he didn't really wear a
Because
vest
that's
that
Hacksaw
much.
Jim Duggan, is it not?
Yes. Yeah, but that was the Jax one. So these were
Jax-
made. These were made by, I think, Mattel, and I think these were Jax. So you know when you remember when Mike Swick did the tour and bit the head off of. There was a promo
Yeah.
And Mike Swick bit the head off of a UFC action figure when they first came out.
Right.
I think they were made by the same guys as these.
Oh, the Jax ones with all the... Yeah. I've got a Matt Hughes one somewhere, I think. We've got a different Hulk Hogan. Look at this.
So he was the first one.
He's the press Hulk
That was the
Hogan.
second one because his arm swings around. So that was series 1. That's series 2.
Brilliant.
Don't know why I know that. That's stupid. But yeah, because look, he had a...
He's been gnawed on, though, a little bit. Steve.
Good lad.
He's been gnawing on him.
But look, you can see he would have held a 2x4 in there.
Well, that's... Yeah. Oh, come on iPad. This is annoying me now. I'm going to have to order... And then that's Mr. Perfect, right?
Yeah, and whose real name is Kurt Hennig.
How would you know that?
Don't know.
Why would you know that?
Well...
At what point do you find that out? Okay, I'm going to try and put this down here so it don't keep flickering and pissing me off.
See if that works. So what else have we got?
Well, these are the ones that Steve sent over to us. So we need to figure out where these are going to go on the site. Hacksaw Jim Duggan was always one of my favourites.
Yeah, I think he has to stay.
But the idea of teaching kids that it's okay to hit people with a piece of 2x4.
And where's his arm been on holiday? And where his chest stayed indoors?
He's got a bit of a farmer's tan going on, hasn't he?
Full tilt, yeah.
Yeah.
Truck driver arm.
Great.
Mate, they were just gold. They were absolute gold.
Well, in this same vein, see, I found this box the other day, and look at that, mate. I bet I can find the sell-by date on that. I've not opened this in a while. That's what I say. I used to keep my cards in it. I still keep my cards in it. I don't.
Where's it from though? Because that plastic was made in probably the 80s, right?
Yeah,
90s.
Yeah, this plastic's probably been slowly killing me since I ate the ice cream out of it. Raspberry Ripple, though, eh?
The boy.
And I had something stuck over it that said cards on it, but obviously that's come off now.
But I like the branding on that. You know, when you see that retro, funky...
It's lovely, isn't it?
Well, we only have Raspberry Ripple at my grandma Woodward's because she'd get it in a block.
Right.
So she always had a contact. So because where we are, we're near Thornton's, you know, chocolates. I obviously worked there. But back in the day when we were kids... There was a cupboard at my grandma's house. It had like a plastic blue bag in it that was just misshaped from Thornton's because she knew a guy.
Of course.
She knew a guy. It tasted like shit, but it was labelled chocolate. We're eating it. Same with that.
And when it was stuck and melted together and you get like two different brands, you're like... this is
strawberry cream and a caramel.
Yeah. You never go back to just one biscuit again. You always need them melted together after that.
But it's the same as that. Like Raspberry Ripple, she had a guy...
Well, you see, the thing is with our audience, you've got to expect that the majority of people had something like this: a roses tin, a biscuit tin, ice cream tubs. I just remember loads of people having ice cream tubs with their cards in, and I haven't opened this in ages. But I know my wrestling cards are in here. I have no idea what else is in here. Probably some contraband. So,
are they Batman ones?
I don't think so. I think they're...
Are they turtles? Are they turtles?
No, I think they're all wrestling. I think these are all wrestling.
They just look yellow.
Oh, no, I've got some Simpsons ones in here. Look at that.
I thought it was Simpsons and Turtles.
So
Grey was Simpsons.
So they're Simpsons ones. Well, that's a...
And these made a puzzle. These made a puzzle.
Yes, they did.
So,
I never had enough of them to make the puzzle. I had no fucking idea what it was.
Well, I had the...
Oh, this screen. Here we go.
I had the Simpsons cards from a friend and my cousins. I had cousins in Australia. And I had the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtle cards in England.
Right.
But in Australia, they were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cards.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to be ninjas, were we?
No. But, you know, when I went to school, because they sent me a block. Ravishing. Rick
Simply
Rude.
ravishing.
You know, he got shot in a shower.
Did he really?
Yeah.
What was he doing in the shower to get shot?
I think he was having a wash. But he could have been doing I don't know.
Got some macho madness.
Mate, they're the second wave, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're the first ones.
They're the first ones.
They're the first ones. I think I've got a full set of those.
Yeah, the blue ones.
Look at the bushwhackers.
Luke and Butch.
We need. You know what we need? We need a desk camera.
Just to put it on, like the poker tables.
Yeah.
A couple of them.
Got some wicked ones in here. But I remember trading these at school and stuff. So what version were these then? The yellow ones?
They were the second or third.
Were they?
Because. Well, yeah,
back
it was
in the
more about
WWF days.
You know when you've got a stack and you're trying to swipe through them. Someone's got, need, got.
Any more than 150 for a kid's hand with too many, really.
Way too many.
Why would you Oh, these had 96. That's a decent number. Wembley Stadium.
Nice.
Look at that.
British Bulldog fought.
Wembley Stadium. Yeah, I got British Bulldog against Bret the Hitman Hart.
They're brother-in-laws. They're actually related.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Kamala against Undertaker.
Yeah.
Money Inc. against Legion of Doom. We definitely need a cam, don't we? Someone said in the comments they look like red panties. Like, what you got red panties on the thing for?
Put them on. Do you want me to try and get my legs in?
I don't understand how that would look like that though. I mean, it's a dinosaur head, right?
I think
it's a 3D
so.
printed dinosaur.
Yeah.
Head. It's got a really weird texture to it.
Mind you, I do see stuff across the other side of the room that I own that I look at and I think, what the fuck is that? I don't know if it's
I
just
didn't know
getting
we had
old.
a cat.
Yeah, and I get close. I'm like, oh, it's just a pair of socks on the end of like on a baseball cap.
So I've got a few sets here. I've got the gold ones with the yellow. I've got the gold ones with the black border around them. I've got these proper old school. Look at that one, the rockers.
Mate, look at that wig.
What a
just
haircut
look at
that
that
is.
dude. Well,
Coco Beware.
do the bird
Bobby
with me.
Heenan.
Mate, have you seen? Well, I saw Bobby Heenan. He lost a lot of weight. I think he got really poorly. I don't know if he's even still with us. But it was just about the mate, Jesse the Body. But you look at that. So he went from wrestling and being a massive name in wrestling. I mean, Hulk Hogan did Mr. Nanny and Suburban Commando. So he stepped out to do movies. But like, there he is.
There's Hacksaw
See,
Jim
no
Duggan.
vest. Why is he wearing a vest here?
See, that looks like $1 Million Man to me because $1 Million Man had the bleached hair. Hacksaw Jim Duggan never.
No,
had
because look
bleached
at the
hair.
beard in the hair. His hair is a different colour.
I'm gonna find
That's definitely that's because he's holding the 2x4.
fucking Red Rooster. What kind of names? Imagine how you got these names when you showed up at the offices and they were like, "Yeah, you're gonna be such and such."
They'd give you a list. Stone Cold.
You're gonna be the Widowmaker, Barry Windham.
Yeah, okay. No worries. Yeah, I'll do that. And you're just going to be called Texas Tornado.
Someone's grand idea. Who was that?
He was on Saturday Morning
Freddie
Wrestling.
Blassie. I don't remember.
We're probably saying that, and
What do
he's,
we know
he's the
about Freddie
biggest star in the world.
Is it right? Classy Freddie Blassie. More than 5 decades of experience as a 5-time champion, a top manager, and a wrestling personality. Secret to success: don't give up. Even when they count 10 over you, you have to get up.
You don't count to 10 in wrestling.
Well,
But
I guess it's just an internal
Mr.
count.
Blassie does.
Smash Demolition. That was a good card.
Mate,
I remember
the
being
Demolition,
really
all
happy
three
when I
of
got
them
that one.
were
And then I got
badass.
3 of them. More like I got 2 of these in the same pack.
That was disappointing back
That
in
was
the day.
really disappointing.
The first one of these
Combined weight.
figures, the first one of these I ever bought was Demolition.
Was it? Yeah.
Axe.
Axe.
Yeah.
So what was his face paint like?
There was Axe, Smash, and Crush came in afterwards.
I forgot about the Brooklyn Brawlers as well.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the other Demolition.
Yeah. So there was the
which one
2
was
for
he
a
then?
while. So there's Axe and Smash, and then Crush came in years later.
Okay.
there's 3
So
of them.
that's Axe. Oh, I see it on the card now. So that's Axe and Smash.
Yeah, and
that was
they-
like Henry Rollins singing
Yes.
the Liar. That does.
And their manager was
Bushwhackers.
the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. You remember he used to have his big megaphone and he'd have
Yeah.
a denim jacket that was spray painted. I've been watching a program, dude.
Macho Man.
Some of this stuff,
Bushwhackers.
they've done a new series where Triple H is basically sending old wrestlers out to reclaim their props. So they're like the Undertaker's urn. So you know the urn that.
Yeah.
The thing is, I always liked wrestling.
What was his name?
Who, Paul Bearer?
Yeah, Paul Bearer. That's him. I've got his card in that set for sure.
He died a couple of years ago.
Did he?
Yeah.
I thought he was dead years ago on the. Was he not dead on
Used
the?
to shit me up.
Was
man.
he really alive?
Did he not shit you up?
Yeah,
Because it wasn't HD.
It was
you
that
watch
creepy.
Yeah. You watch the footage now and you can see this line. It's like a 12-year-old's trying to do a makeup. It's fucking awful just round his face. Whereas when you watched it on an old CRT shit TV, it was just really atmospheric. But they basically now, so let's say the urn or Macho's jacket or whatever. Mate, I hated Ric
That's
Flair.
the WCW Ric
Yeah,
Flair
I
as well.
fucking hated him.
He was old as fuck then.
Well, they did a storyline it was WrestleMania 8.
Who interviewed him recently, Ric Flair? Was it Ariel?
It could have been. He's a big wrestling fan, isn't he, Errol? Yeah. But Ric Flair came in at WrestleMania 8 when basically Sid Justice was trying to steal Macho Man's wife or some shit. And Ric Flair was fighting Hulk Hogan. And that's when the Ultimate Warrior came back in. So to me, because Ric Flair had been fighting, I don't know, 20 years before that, I'd only ever seen him as a heel.
Right.
Same as Ted DiBiase. I never liked him. Him and Erwin R.
Do you know
Shyster.
that's him?
Definitely not. Without a doubt. Look, he doesn't hold a 2x4. And he's not got stars and stripes on his knee. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, he was full America, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. I just don't remember Hacksaw Jim Duggan ever having the bleached hair.
I'd put my house on that being Hacksaw Jim
You don't
Duggan.
need to do that.
Well, no, because
And you crush it anyway.
It
if you
might
put
be
your
worth
house on
more.
it. Mate, Steve Smith, if we find out it's worth
More
lots
than
of
my
money,
house, then
we'll,
yeah.
we'll absolutely go off on you with your action figure.
Yeah.
No. Maybe we could just make this place like a sanctuary for like toys that don't get appreciated anymore.
The springs have gone.
Yeah,
just the top half of a figure.
Like I've had a couple of fighters send me gloves for the rack.
Oh, really?
Scott Holtzman sent me a message the other day asking me if he could send me a set to put on the rack, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a pair of Jimmy's Bellator gloves on there. I've got a pair of V's gloves on there. Got a few. Karolina Kowalkiewicz coach. He gave me his old Thai boxing gloves. Yeah, it's wicked.
This
man.
place kind of draws it, though.
Husband, actually. Now.
Yeah.
Tugboat.
Yeah, well, he turned into Typhoon, didn't he?
God, he was on some gear. Look at Power and Glory. Look how much gear he was on.
Mate,
this is why
they're not around.
Yeah.
That's why it surprises me that certain people like Hulk Hogan and John Cena and that are still about, because it's not a natural. Being built like a Dorito is not normal.
No, it's not.
In any way.
No, it's not.
Do you know what I mean?
Hawk had some wicked face paint, didn't he?
I preferred Animal. I know we've had this conversation.
Yeah, I know.
You weren't convinced.
Well, it just didn't make sense that one of them was a specific type of bird and one of them was just like generally a...
You're Hawk, but I'm partly you because I'm all animals.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like one being called meat and the other one being called sausage.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it didn't make sense.
I get it.
There's Mr. Perfect, look. That is absolutely... And they even got the face almost right on it.
He's voted, as most of the wrestlers, as one of the greatest performing wrestlers, as in the greatest guy to work with. So everyone hated the Ultimate Warrior, despised him.
What, actually?
Yeah.
Weren't there like a few Ultimate Warriors, though?
No, only one guy.
Was there
One
really?
guy, yeah.
Oh, I thought
but
there were...
people
look at
hated
that.
him.
Ultimate Warrior.
There he is.
He was always a difficult card to get, Ultimate Warrior
Yeah.
was.
Well, he was the most popular.
Big Boss Man, though. Fucking hell.
I did like
could have
Big Boss Man.
wallpapered a room with Big Boss Man cards. Here's Hacksaw again.
Look at him with Earthquake. He doesn't give
See,
a
that
fuck.
makes sense. Yeah, no, I suppose it is. Maybe this is like some kind of special one. Did he reinvent himself and bleach his hair or something?
No, this is one of the things I was telling Ollie.
Someone's watching.
Someone knows at Mattel what the fuck went off. Someone on Toys That Made Us on Netflix is like,
Yeah. It's actually a He-Man reject.
It is. That's what they were. So a lot of things got remolded or they repurposed bodies. So like if they'd sculpted a body type, so like his chest, they might have used for Big Boss or someone else. So it was always kind of like you've got three versions. Like with Micro Machines, if you actually look at the chassis, that's a very fancy version of a macro machine.
Type of kick as well. You know. Bushwhackers.
There was two, but they had to build off that.
So who would have been remodeled for you then? Like if we're making you out of an action figure, who would have been repurposed?
Mate. Some like you remember Mask Crusaders?
Barbarian.
Definitely not.
Not him. No.
Barbarian's taken bigger shits than me.
I like
moulded them
I like
into
his little antlers though.
It's the outfits. The thing is, it was much more superhero back in the day.
Mate, he's
wasn't it?
on some juice in there. Look at that. Ridiculous.
Well, he came back and then his heart exploded, didn't it?
Did it?
But it's the same as Macho Man. He had a heart attack and hit a tree. But that's what surprised me that Hulk's still about because he was... I don't know how much money he's pumped into KeepMeAlive.com, but it's a fuckload because he went full... He had the curse of MTV, didn't he? So Hulk Hogan sort of set this thing of his life of being like, eat your greens, take your vitamins, do all this sort of shit.
Yeah.
And then they did Hogan Knows Best. His son got sent to prison for a high-speed either pursuit or a race, and he killed someone or nearly killed someone. His daughter looked like him, but was kind of fit, which was terrifying. Which, you know what I mean? His wife, who'd been with him the whole career...
Made you ask all kinds of questions about yourself and your relationship with Hulk Hogan.
Exactly. And then he released that sex tape. So it just went from this...
It was too late at that point.
Oh, yeah.
The sex tape should have come earlier.
Way earlier.
Like during the wrestling career.
Yeah.
I bet he's got some stories. Can you imagine the stories that these guys have got?
That's what I like.
If you sat in a room with Hulk Hogan, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know what I mean?
Mate,
and you were like, nothing's recording.
Yeah. Because you'd relate to like when we did the scene in such and such in Rambo 1 or like Tango and Cash or whatever. Remember when that happened? Oh yeah, I just literally got off a 23-hour bender. And I love it.
Yeah. Like there was a photo shoot I did at Graceland. I think I've told you about this before. And I'd gone into, it was in Memphis. It was a UFC in Memphis. Rampage was on the card, I think.
Nice. So UFC was...
Yeah, it was
that
UFC.
Marvin Eastman then? Was that his debut?
I'm not sure.
Just pulling that out.
Yeah,
it might not have been.
We could probably find it online. It was in Memphis. It was a UFC event, and I'd gone in to be the guest fighter at the weigh-ins. I'd done the Q&A, and no, yeah, I'd done the Q&A and I'd eaten at the hotel that night. I was waking up the next morning to be early at Graceland before the doors open and let the fans in.
Yeah, have a look.
And I got food poisoning from the salad in the hotel. I was so sick.
How the fuck do you get food poisoning from salad?
Yeah, it was just some manky spinach or something. It was gross, but it was like I was in Graceland. Like there's nobody there. This is Elvis's house. They've taken down all the barriers and all the bars and stuff, so we can just kind of go wherever we want to take photos. And I am having to focus 80% of my energy on just
not shitting yourself.
No, it was just throwing up.
Oh right,
you're
not sticky both ends.
No, no, fortunately not. But it, honestly, and if you can look back at those photos, and I remember the spread in Fighters Only magazine of like all these photos of me in different rooms in Elvis's house, and I literally looked like a wax figurine. I was just like so kind of like pasty and like ill looking.
It's horrible, isn't it?
It was not. I looked a little bit like that kind of
just
like shiny and clammy and like nervous that I was going to puke on Elvis's carpet.
With the thing, whenever you see someone either puke on someone or something and not hit the pan. Like they just stood there and all of a sudden they're sick. That's never happened to me. Apart from when I had something like food poisoning. On our honeymoon, we went to Cuba. And basically when you get there, Cuba's a peninsula. So it's just a long skinny line. And I'm not trying to teach people geography because I don't know fuck all, but it's very thin.
The world map.
Right. if one of them can just paint that in. So here's Cuba. And basically, we were on the very end, Varadero we were at, and they said, come and book your trips.
Texas Tornado.
He's got 4 brothers. They're a massive wrestling family, massive, only one lad left out of all of them, which is devastating. You think, like, look at the Hart family. You lost, like, Owen Hart, British Bulldog, Anvil Hart. It's kind of crazy that they do all this stuff. Yeah. They don't have a family. They don't have a life with their kids, but then they just put it all out there. We remember it and have these little memories of how cool it was on a Saturday morning, but they're dead. Yeah, it's kind of a big price to pay.
Weird, isn't it? It's weird. Sorry, as you were saying, you're booking something.
So we got to Cuba and they did the whole shakedown, and it's like, all right, well, any trips you need to book through us. So they did all that, and basically it's a different story about the whole fucking racket of Cuba, which is insane. But we went to the pool, and because it was all you could eat, and I had a lot of the waiters in my pockets. Because basically someone said to me, take pens and colouring books with you and you will be royalty, which is true. It's because they have kids and they don't have all that sort of stuff. So I would pay, and it was all free, but obviously I would like upgrade myself with a cheeky colouring book and some felt tips, which the waiter's like, quick, you go and sit down, bring your drinks. So I had this guy cook me something dead special. And he was like, I'll make you like this fucking whole omelette thing with stuff and whatnot. And I was like, cool. Ate that and I sat at the pool and it must have incubated in my stomach and I got food poisoning.
In the sunshine.
Oh, and so I was the most violently sick I've ever been. You know when you're being sick and and it goes out and then you go again in waves. This was like on acid, just fucking flipping out. The next day we went to Club Tropicana, which was not free and was in Havana, which was on a bus ride, and there are no new cars in Havana. There's no new cars in Cuba.
Yeah.
So as cute as it
goes, but like not nice classic cars though.
Well,
or like just kind of shit old cars that don't.
There's a lot of
old. I've seen photos of really nice old cars.
So there's a lot of old Cadillacs and anything that got imported over before it got shut off. They've still got.
Right.
However, as you would think, the engines are fucked now because they're from the 60s. So they've now got like a larder engine in them, or they've got like a pop bottle sticking out, which has got homemade motor oil in it, and it's ingenious. But it's uncomfortable as fuck. No aircon and it's bumpy as shit. And we had I think it was a 9-hour drive with food poisoning, no toilet, on a shit bus. And they kept stopping because every time they stopped was to try and sell you something with one of their mates. So, you want to buy cigars? Right. And basically the guy...
Got a little circuit trying to sell you.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
So it probably only took 2 hours to get there if someone's doing the actual crow flight. But they took us 9 hours to get the money out of us. And honestly, I went to this club. It was the most horrible thing. But because we'd paid, you had to do it. I just felt sick. Food poisoning.
Yeah. It's the worst.
The picture's the same. Just that cold sweat. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Leave me alone.
It was the same thing though with like seasickness. Like when I started doing the boat race training and people were like, okay, you need to have these pills with you. So if you start to feel seasick, take them. Because once you started feeling seasick, getting back from nausea is incredibly difficult. Especially if you're staying at sea for a little while. So, like, what most people were doing is that they were loading up on... I can't remember what they're called.
double dropping, having a couple of these
they were
seasickness
loading up.
salt
They were
tablets.
like before we got on the boat. So like they were like it was ready in their system for when seasickness started to
That's
set in.
over preparing, isn't it?
But the thing is, like, so I did 4 weeks of training, 1 week, like lots of training before the 4 week boat race. And for the first 2, I was fine. I was like, oh, this is fine. I'm not going to get seasickness. Like, I'm just one of those people that don't get seasickness. And if I do, I mean, you feel a bit nauseous, you feel a bit sick, it'd be fine.
I saw it.
Yeah. I mean, I did a lot of drinking in about 2.5 years when I was in my teens, so I got really good at throwing up.
Yeah.
So, it's no bother to
I can
me.
hit a bucket.
It's no bother. When you're at sea, the world is your bucket,
Well, there you go. And you're feeding the fish.
Exactly. Although they come back after you, the flying fish, mate. I've been hitting the side of the face with a flying fish.
Fuck off.
Mate, they jump out of the water, and as always at night, and as we're going along on the boat, if you're standing up on the boat at night, the flying fish coming over the boat.
I wonder if they organise that. I wonder if they're that bored. They've got it's
coming.
Fuck on,
It's coming.
that boat's coming. You can't do it. Fucking watch me.
Nailed him.
Who'd you get? That con on there.
Yeah, but then they get stuck
Gone with
on
the
the
top
boat.
knot.
Then they get stuck on the boat, and you have to pick them up and throw them back overboard.
Oh, shit.
They're weird because they've got like these kind of fishy wings. Really odd things.
Slippery.
Really odd.
Like a slippery
Not
dish.
because they're panicking as well because they're flapping and shit. And you're like trying not to.
Do you reckon they're the ones that landed there laughing like, oh, see Roy? Dickhead.
Stuck. Yeah, it's like when you see those videos of someone trying to jump a canal and they just touch the other side and don't
Well, they sort
climb
of
it.
bounce and then get back.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes your feet tingle.
How do we get onto that? Oh yeah,
Go on.
seasickness.
Seasickness.
So I'd spent the first 2 weeks of training cruising,
Laughing
thinking
it
it was
off.
no bother. I seen other people struggle, not understanding exactly what they're going through. Third week comes around and we're spending this is the first full week at sea now. Because other times we were like anchoring across, just off the coast or coming back into the harbour, a few different options. But this week we were staying out and we were doing a race between the south coast of England and the north coast of France.
Okay.
And as soon as we got out into the channel, and we're racing as well, there's 10 boats of us and we're like doing this kind of race drill. Like the boat is literally on its side, like literally like 45 degrees in the water. I'm starting to feel sick, and now it's setting in. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh, this is just going to get worse and worse.
Yeah.
And the point where it gets at its worst is when it's dark.
Yeah.
Because you've got nothing to steady your eye line. Like even if you're on a boat that's like kind of leaning over and you're like hanging on to stuff, if you can see the eye line, the horizon, you can kind of balance yourself and like
It's like putting your foot out the bed, innit? Okay.
It's like you still feel sick,
Yeah.
but you can kind of manage it a bit. But we got stuck on on the way back, we got stuck on a lobster pot. So the boat was just stuck. And we had to have a 24-hour watch because we were in a shipping lane.
How big's the fucking lobster pot?
Mate, it was the back propeller got tangled in
Oh,
it.
shit, okay. I know that crab off Moana coming out, fucking singing Shiny.
No, we could see the coast. We could see like Portland Bill and the coast,
Yeah.
the south coast of England, but we were just, half a mile away. But we were in a shipping lane. And we're stuck on this lobster pot, and it's completely pitch black. Like you literally can't see the difference between the sea and the sky. And I'm sitting on the back of this boat in a storm on watch with just this Gore-Tex hood up.
Moochie totally.
Honestly, I'm literally just folded over, like literally laying on my lap. And the only thing that made me feel any better was salt and vinegar crisps. It's the only
Really?
thing. I don't know what it is. The salt and vinegar. It's like a sharpness to it, and you kind of go.
You hold it like your grail. Leave me.
It's the worst feeling, but it's completely debilitating.
Yeah.
And when you're not feeling it, you can't comprehend. You watch somebody else. That's
awful.
Like, there was a guy who was an Olympic rower, and when I got off the boat in Brazil, he got on to go from Brazil to Cape Town.
Okay.
And he had horrendous seasickness the whole time, and just couldn't really do a great deal on the boat.
I find with sickness with me, it's almost not psychological. But it's a bit like if I might have had a cheeky smoke. And in paranoia, people say that it induces paranoia. And the problem is it's only when you give it the option to be paranoia because you acknowledge it. And the other day, I was sat there and I was like, oh, I feel a bit sick. And it's a bit like seasickness. Well, we went on a deep sea fishing boat in Cuba as one of our trips. And they basically were like, said, don't get seasickness. And I was like, oh, I don't want to get seasickness. And then he was like, are you all right? Checking up on me every 2 minutes. And because I was all right, I started doubting myself that I'm all right. And now should I be all right? And then before you know it, you're like, oh, I might feel a bit sick, And it's one of them that it's like, only when you open that door, I mean, sometimes it's completely taken away from you because you've been dropped into the absolute depths of this is the worst case scenario. It's like going on the Nemesis at Alton Towers and experiencing a couple of G's and being like, I could go in one of them spaceship fucking training pods, and you've seen
Did
people's
they have
face
pink
shaking
water around Nemesis?
Always, yeah.
Have they not dyed the water red?
They did, yeah. They dyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look,
I always thought that might be to cover up the fact that someone like lost a limb a bit further around. It was
mate.
if you just keep the water red all the time.
yeah. I think Nemesis came out. It was 93, 92, because my stepmom had got tickets for me and my sister.
So Nemesis was the first like leg hanging roller coaster,
and it was
right?
8 loops.
In the UK.
Yeah.
Because Shockwave at Drake Manor Park, that was the first stand-up roller coaster.
Yeah, and that's only got 4 or 5. They're both still going.
Yeah.
I took Mill on Shockwave.
Did you?
We queued up, and there was a guy in the queue, and genuinely, I'd seen him a couple of times in the day, and he looked a bit like Rag and Bone Man. His face was covered in tattoos, which I kind of love, because tattoos for me, there's always a story, no matter where I point or what bit. And a lot of people, it scares or it freaks out. Or it's like, oh, well, what are you going to do about a job? And it's like, he might not give a fuck, or that might be his job, like Rag and Bone Man.
I'm going to rob you. I've got tattoos. What
exactly.
do you expect?
It's like 2 years ago, if you'd gone into a post office with a mask on your face, you'd have been arrested.
They'd have been pressing buttons under the counter.
Now, if you go in naked face, big fucking problem.
They'll be pressing buttons under the counter.
Yeah, exactly.
The world flips upside down.
Do you know what I mean? So
we're in a parallel. It's like that. It's like your Stranger Things house, isn't it? We're in a parallel universe.
Exactly. And I kind of like what people get uncomfortable with. It's interesting for me to see, because I've had it myself, and I know I've mentioned it before. If I approach someone and I'm doing a website job or something back in the day, and I turn up in a hoodie and my glasses and a super geek, then they react completely different to when if I've just got a t-shirt and they're like, I've worked with someone before, and it's been like 4 times we've met. It's been cold. It's gone into the summer. I've gone to meet them in a pair of shorts and my t-shirt. And they're like, oh, I didn't realise that you were a Nazi. And it's like, oh no, this is all like Samoan Kiratui. This isn't offensive, but it's weird how they react.
Yeah.
So I met this guy, and the queue was about an hour long, and I had Moo with me, and he had his daughter who was about the same age. So we had this. It was wicked. We were talking the whole time, so the time flew by. Gets to the front, and Moo hadn't had the chance at the point that we'd been queuing up to sort of say to me, Dan, I'm a bit nervous. And I was like, I'll be all right. So when we got to the front, because it was all social distanced, he went on this car and I went right behind him. And his daughter sort of went, nope, and went. And so he was like, all right. And he shouted behind him, went, don't worry about her, she needs a poo. So then when Moo got on, she started to freak out. And I was like, you're not getting off. Not a chance. Because I think you've got to do it. You have to see it through.
Well, once she's got to over the anticipation of the climb and then the first little drop, you're fine, aren't you?
15 seconds. My dad said to me at Drayton Manor, and the first upside down ride I ever went on was the Python. It went upside down once.
Yeah.
It took. Did a few spins and then upside down. And the way he got me on, similar to how I got me on that one, was when you get to the top, if you want to get off, there's a bus stop. You can get off. And at the time, I think I was about 7 or 8. And I was like, yeah, cool. Gets to the top, said to my dad, yeah, fuck it, I'm good, Dad. And he just laughed. But he sort of let out this laugh that he'd forgotten what he'd said, then realised I was cashing that check, to which tickled him to the point where he's like, ha ha, fuck off. You can't get out. I was like, yeah, but can I? And he's like, no. And I went on it 2 or 3 times. So it's one of them where I can't remember what got me onto rides.
My dad was the flip side. I remember going to Goose Fair. So Goose Fair, for people who don't know, it was the largest mobile fair in Europe, right? Yeah, it's the most expensive fucking evening. Yeah, Goose Fair. It's a massive mobile fair, but like as you know, my dad's an engineer, so we'd be queuing up for something. We'd be in a line, and he'd be standing there, and then he'd just be deconstructing it for me while we're waiting in the line, to try and get me to change my mind. He'd be going, see those bolts there? Yeah, I've seen them snap. Raw carrots, they just snap, just gone. And he's like, look how that's propped up with a couple of pieces of wood, because everything was
always.
I mean, it was like
always.
It was like grass.
It was a travelling fair. As much as a bad stereotype, whatever stereotype you take from that, apply it to this.
Yeah,
because it is much better now. It's like obviously everything's been
knife
upgraded.
crime's a lot less now.
Yeah,
well.
There might be more there.
It was really bad at one point, wasn't it?
Mate, my mum wouldn't let us go.
No.
Because obviously we were Derby side and Goose Fair was not side. So to be able to come all the way across to go. I never went once. I went with my friend Curtis. He was an only child. And I used to get fostered in quite a lot. Because if he wanted to go and do the NEC car show, they'd take me because I was easy. Do you know what I mean? We were good mates, but it was a wicked thing because he didn't have brothers and sisters. So any birthday, it was like, oh, well, yeah, we'll grab Owen and he's your substitute brother. So we went to the Goose Fair and we had a $5 each, which was paper money back in, it would have been 91, 92. And basically...
£5. You could have got a troll with massive fluorescent hair and a poster with a cat hanging on a branch saying, oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Or a train that's just come through a building.
Oh, there you go.
Do you know what we got?
What'd you get?
We got a Guns N' Roses framed mirror, which is about this big. It's still at my mum's. It's still. I obviously won't be able to get it, but it's there. And it's like an A4 size wooden frame with mirror and printed Guns N' Roses on.
What, like Appetite for Destruction Guns N' Roses?
Yeah,
like
but it just
prime.
Guns N' Roses, mate. Honestly, it was shit. But it was what we were like. You'd have had to spend 35 quid on Hook a Duck to be able to get that top prize.
Yeah.
And we found a guy near the end of the night.
Hook a Duck.
Off we went.
I used to love Hook a Duck, mainly because I was good at it and it was easy and everyone could do it.
It's a weird racket though, isn't it? Because all these toys, you don't win. They always go underneath and go, there you go, mate.
Yeah. Oh, no, you've got to fucking turn it orange.
You need a green spot under the duck. It's like, show me all the ducks. Not going to happen, sir.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always a racket. And just don't have like Mega Drives and fucking Master Systems all here.
Yeah.
And skateboards and cool shit. And they go, there you go, mate. You got a fucking kazoo. And I've used it.
It's like the claw machines, though, isn't it? There's always like, remember like when there was a Game Boy sitting out of it? And I'm like, how? Like, there's no way of picking that up with the claw.
No,
like a watch in a plastic box that can't be grabbed.
Covered
either.
in soap. Yeah, what are you doing, dude? But all that stuff that's what arcades are now.
Yeah.
So when you go into an arcade now, you don't go in with money. You have to preload a card, and you get credits.
That's no good. What about the 2p machines then?
You get that, so that's still living.
I love a coin pusher.
But you know, Time Crisis.
Coin pusher as well.
I do like
a
coin
proper
pushers,
one,
mate.
like a proper 2p coin pusher.
I would want to see how much drops off the side. If it was like I owned it, I could just replace the sides with perspex. Just go. Oh, I've made 18 quid. in a month.
Can you imagine as well? Yeah.
But you think
cool, though, wouldn't it?
The racket on that though, how genius is that of someone, right? Because no one has ever left an arcade with 2p's. Not like 48 pence up. See you later, dickheads. Mugs game. There's only one winner in these arcades. So you change £1 into 2s. You have your 20 minutes worth of fun. You either change another £1 or you get what you got and you feed it back in. You never ever... Whoever made that is fucking minted.
But that's the thing is you don't mind, like for a quid, like for a £1 coin, you get 50 goes at it.
Yeah, and it's a good 20 minutes.
I'll pay a quid for 20 minutes.
That's what I mean. But like the arcades now, when we take the kids, it's all token based.
That's no good, is it?
It's
That's
dog
no
shit.
good at all. I've got top trumps.
You got top trumps in there. But you know, in Derby, there's an arcade next to a bowling alley, which has obviously been shut down for the past fucking 20 years because of this, I don't know, plague. And you've got just down the road is the pound shop where they buy all the shit prizes. So they buy like a bag of 10 kazoos for £1, and one kazoo is 1,000 tickets. But to get 1,000 tickets will cost you probably 400 quid.
This is where the pound shop's going wrong.
It's fucking killing me.
You should have to win the stuff in there.
Imagine. Just carnival games. Roll up, roll up. Do you want 4 packets of Rizzlers and maybe a zigzag? Yes, I do. Fucking fill that bloom of water from 10 yards.
I came in for 24 toilet rolls. You got to knock that coconut off the fucking stump for the toilet.
You want a troll? For fuck's sake.
I want a troll.
She stood there.
Came for toilet rolls. I would get in trouble.
Stood there with an old laundry bag full of shit. Honestly.
Yeah.
This is a genius concept, though, pound shop. I think it's my favourite thing as a kid. Yeah. Absolute favourite.
I did used to love walking around. Yeah, pound shops were good when I was at university because I was an art student. You know what I mean? And you can get away with a lot of art supplies. From a pound shop, like massive bottles of poster paint. And cheap glue, and I mean not the glue for art stuff, not
PVA.
For not for drugs or anything like that.
Can I have a paper bag and a litre of...
Yeah, when I say I was an art student, I mean, I didn't get that low.
Glue.
We didn't get that.
Can we have just as a disclaimer, don't huff glue. Definitely don't huff glue.
No. But I go there and get all kinds of stuff. I bought... Wilco's. Wilkinson's was always a good one.
I liked it. Apart from Stacey's family always called it Wilkies.
Wilkies?
Yeah, they're from
Wilco's, but it's been shortened to Wilco's now, hasn't it?
Yeah. Wilco's was good. I used to like the pound shop when there's some discount shops that basically make stuff cheap. Not a fan of that. What I like is when someone's got too much of something and it ends up in the pound shop because they can't sell
Right.
it. So you remember York weightlifting?
Yeah.
I went to Derby and they had a knee restraint, like the neoprene fucking rip your knee together, stick your knee together, ankles, wrist, the weightlifting gloves, everything.
You buy the full set.
Pound it. I bought fucking about 3 sets of it. It was amazing. But I was that giddy. I bought a load, went home, and my mum was like, "Why don't you buy some more? We could sell it." Always thinking. Got back and someone had cleaned them out. And obviously, basically, it's the same as Home Bargains. Home Bargains is owned by Tesco. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of either close dated or whatever. But what's the fucking point in paying £4 at Tesco for this bottle of ketchup when it's £1.20? So I'm all about
There you go.
smarter, not harder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Which is why you had motorbikes and not Cadbury's.
Thank you. I will justify my poorness very quickly. That was in the comments. I love the comments, by the way. And this is something I'll come on to from Ramesh Ranganathan and what's his name? Big Tom Davis, big fella. He's been in Plebs. He's been on League of Their Own. He's the big fella. You'd recognise him. I really like his style of what he does, and he's a funny dude. And he does a lot of the League of Their Own, and he's kind of this like 7 foot awkward giant that isn't very good at anything, but has a good laugh. I'll show you a picture of him. Okay. He's a good lad. But they do a podcast, and me and Stace listened to it the other day, and it gave me an idea. But what I will do is justify my poorness very briefly.
So there was a comment. There was a comment that said that you could have motorbikes but not Cadbury's, and then basically someone calling it bullshit.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah, I reckon.
You recognise him. He seems like a really sound bloke. You know when you look at someone, you think I'd get on with him.
Yeah.
I'd like him. I think when I look at Steve or someone like that, I'm like, yeah, we'd be all right.
You'd definitely get on with Steve.
Yeah. So basically, in the comments, I quite like talking to people because there's a lot of times where one guy was saying about a toy and it was a Turtles pizza shooter. And I had a similar toy from the same company, but it was from a different mate. It wasn't Turtles. It was like...
Is it like a skeet kind of...
No, it sort of shot these discs out the front. So it was like a big motor. There was like a... You know, like the American football launchers?
Yeah.
But in a condensed toy that had like a pizza in it.
Right.
So you stack these pizzas up and you just press it and it went... It took like 7 C batteries, which you only had in a fucking torch in the 80s. But so he reminded me of that. So like I say, I like having these conversations with people. One guy just put, which is fair play to him, he goes, could race motorbikes, which is not true. Trialing is not racing. It's different. But
Trialing?
Yeah. So you can race motorbikes, but you couldn't afford Cadbury's. Wanker. Which I thought was a really nice introduction to a bit of a conversation we could have had. But he didn't come back to me because I answered him. I just put that was amazing. But my trials was at my dad's. Whereas my non-Cadbury's, and even more poorness, was at my mum's. Because basically, my mum and dad had a divorce, which kind of screwed my mum over a little bit. And so she was left in the shit. So we kind of had to pull our bootstraps up a little bit. And it wasn't a case that we could have Cadbury's. But yeah, I did have a motorbike at my dad's. So it was... But he sacrificed a lot of shit to sort of supply that to me because that's what you do for your kids. So to justify that, fuckface, that's why I had a motorbike. But... Off the Ramesh and Tom thing, they do letters. They ask people to write in. And I think there's a lot of times where me and you have shared stories about either you running through the silage at that farm, which still kills me to this day.
What?
Was it?
Oh, the fucking...
cow shit or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Which is...
We were running from the farmer because we were smashing windows of like cars that were parked. You know what farmers are like though in the UK though. They'll like buy a car. They'll like buy a Volvo that's a diesel engine.
It's their new tractor.
And they'll run it into the ground. It's got like 300,000 miles.
Red diesel in the tank.
Red diesel, of course. And then once it stops running, they just park them somewhere on the thing.
And they fill it with stuff.
That's it.
Mannequins.
And they just rot and they just take bits off it or whatever. So we were standing on one side of a pond and there's like this whole row of old cars on the other. Still had a decent amount of windows in. And we were just pitching rocks as you do as a troublemaking kid.
It's all about the
full
throwing
denim
games.
as well. That's the
double
thing.
denim.
I was double denim. Of course I was smashing windows. So I was pitching rocks across the pond, smashing windows. And all of a sudden we see the tractor coming. So we all belt off and scatter through all the farm buildings.
You have to.
And I was running across a concrete platform. And as I ran, it changed from concrete to what I thought was dirt that sloped down.
Scooby-Doo legs.
And it was not. I ran out straight onto the top of it, and as I was trying to run, I just went down straight into it.
Like quicksand, but super quicksand.
Like super quicksand. The thing that filled me with so much panic, though, in the moment, and made me freeze, which most people wouldn't do,
No.
is the day before we'd been out hiking, and I'd been told peat bogs, right? We're walking across planks between peat bogs, and they're like, if you fall in one of those, the more you thrash around, the quicker you'll sink. So if you fall in a peat bog, just fucking hold still, like a spider that's trying to be invisible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like in the back of my head, this is the last thing I thought.
Just slowly going down like an elevator.
As soon as I ran out and it started to sink, my first thought is it's got to be a fucking peat bog.
You've had a good one.
So I freeze and I'm sinking into this thing, getting filth all over my double denims, to then realise when my feet get to the bottom of it and I'm like this deep in it, it was cow shit.
Amazing. One of my favourite stories.
My cow shit. It was, and I just walked forward out of it, just
shook yourself. For fuck's sake.
And I was I've got a photo of it somewhere.
Isn't that, back in the day though, those fear stories made a big difference. And I'm not referring to a complete snowflake generation, because it's weird. Obviously, I've got a niece at say 20 who's got opinions on certain things that blow my fucking mind. I've got my own kids at 9 and 13, which again concerns me to a degree, because when you're watching like YouTube, and someone go up to looks like, I don't know, 20-year-old person, they go, what are the countries in the United Kingdom? They go, France, and he's like, yep. And it terrifies me.
We watched one the other day, and it was someone on the high street, and they went, name a book. Yeah. And the amount of people that were just like vacant.
A4 notebook.
Yeah.
Chemistry.
He's like, well, I've been reading a lot of comics recently, or like, I mainly read magazines, with the replies like, name a book.
You know
dictionary,
a book.
The Bible.
Yeah, Peter Rabbit. What the fuck? But it scares me. So like, I'm often hitting them with like pop quizzes just to make sure.
Right. Okay.
But
so you're training them for pub quiz, and they've got not getting
exactly. So like, what are the 4 ghosts called in fucking Pac-Man? Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde. That's fine. We need to know that.
Right.
We need pub quiz cod shit upstairs for whatever reason. So I try and hit them with it, because I was remembering the other day, because Moo's quite nervous of like, if she comes downstairs, me and Stacey will call it murder stuff. So we're watching, I don't know, fucking Line of Duty or whatever. And just because we are exhausted parents, we chose to have them, I'm not complaining, but we made these babies and now they're fucking exhausting. So we'll say to them, right, it's 8 o'clock, you can shoot off. I mean, she's got a loft bedroom with a 40-something inch telly. It's fucking sick. You've seen it.
Yeah.
And so you send her up there, and she'll come down and she announces her arrival at the top of the stairs.
Oh, so...
But like, I'm coming. Just because she doesn't want someone to be... When I say murder shit, it's not like we're watching fucking snuff films or like thrill kill. It is literally, there was a body at the beginning, we're now going to solve it, and we're playing whodunit, and me and Stacey can relax watching serial killers. So she'll come down and do that, and it just reminded me of when I was a kid, I was really, really scared at one point of war, because we were learning a bit about it. And my stepmom just turned to me and she was like, so what are you worried about? I was like, well, like I could be called in. I might have to go to the army. I don't want to do that. That's worrying. And I was only a little guy. I didn't have a lot to me. So I was like, fucking hell, this is worrying. And she went, don't worry. Don't fucking worry about that. War, nowadays, we'll press a button, they'll press a button, everyone's dead. But like the most matter-of-fact, blunt, fucking horrible And
now you've gone from conscription to Armageddon.
Yeah.
In like a quick conversation.
Yeah.
So
like,
now you've got the idea of getting fitted for your uniform,
the uniform
and trained
fit
out
me.
to use a gun.
Oh, we're
now you're just
vaporised.
sitting on the sofa and it's just...
Yeah. And so we watched a film called Threads. Did you watch that at school?
No.
Please put in the comments everyone watched it. It was fucking terrifying.
Threads.
And I think Sean Bean's in it.
Sounds like some kind of sci-fi killer.
No, it was set in Sheffield, and it was as if...
That's already terrifying.
Right, which is where my dad's from, so I know Sheffield.
I had a lot of Cage Warriors fights in Sheffield.
It's a good fucking fight. They fucking love a fight.
Yeah,
they tried to take my Rally Wolf Cub off me with a fucking screwdriver.
Is that right?
Good job I pressed the woo, fucking rode off. But it was set in Sheffield, and it was like it was a film basically of a nuclear disaster. If a bomb went off...
A what?
Nuclear?
No.
Nuclear. Nurmagomedov.
No, yeah, that's
That'll
good.
do.
No. You say it the same as Jamie does. Jamie say
wrong.
nuclear.
Nuclear?
Ah.
Nuclear? No. Nuclear, right? Yeah, where's Homer's work? Sector 7G. Nuclear.
Well, I was watching what was I watching? Fucking Jimmy Kimmel and George Bush or Stephen Colbert, somebody and George Bush the other day.
Someone that should know better.
Yeah, and no, he was taking the piss out of himself. George Bush was taking the piss out of himself because he says nuclear instead of nuclear.
Nuclear, yeah. Well, that's it. It's just in. It's just in.
That's it. Asterix.
Yeah. So that's what it was set in Sheffield. It was set as if a bomb went off.
Right.
And we had it in, I want to say the lesson was PTSD. I know that's not the right name because it's been a long time since I was at school, but it wasn't a specific
You've probably
lesson.
got post-traumatic stress disorder.
I've definitely
school.
got it from that.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't it wasn't maths, it wasn't English, it wasn't RE, but it was like that. Year 11, we're going to kind of put you in like teaching you about fucking what your job's going to be, or do you know what I mean? PS, I can't remember what it was, but they showed us this film in that.
Yeah.
And it was Friday afternoon. We came out at say 4:00, and it was like, the Independence Day cloud.
Mm-hmm. PSE?
PSE, it could have been that.
What was that stand for?
I
What
don't
did
know.
PSE stand for?
Slim, you were most recently at school. What was PSE?
PSE.
Yeah. Like a lesson where you'd learn about careers and fucking... It was basically a fuck-off lesson, wasn't it? It wasn't It wasn't really like a...
I think it changed to general studies after the first year or something.
Yeah,
for us.
it wasn't completely...
PSE, it was PSE though,
I
wasn't
think it was, yeah. And it wasn't like you had homework from it. It was just basically like, do you want to be a bricklayer?
Wait, that was just like a scene out of Little Britain, that was.
Margaret! Margaret! Have we got any pirate memory games from ages 3 to 7? I can't. I have no legs. Fucking gold. I don't know what you're talking about. So
We were talking about PSE.
yeah, and when I came outside, it was like...
PSE, what the fuck?
I don't know.
I can't even think what it would stand for.
I could ask my sister and she'd tell you like that. She's 43.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd tell... 42, sorry. Just put a fucking year on it. She put it in the eye. But we came out and the whole outside was cold and this weird... And when... Obviously, I wasn't baked. I didn't even smoke or anything. I didn't drink. I was 15. And I just sat watching this thing. And when you kind of get a bit nervous and you're hot watching it. And I was like, I don't like this. And we went outside and it was the same thing. And I was just convinced and I was terrified. And that's when, obviously, then my stepmom was like, oh, no, don't worry. You just be dead straight away. I'm like, that's what we've got with our kids.
Yeah.
To then, they were just so blunt. They were like, this is what happens.
The thing that every now and then though there's a movie that you watch when you're a kid that just changes your perception of something. I had no issue with the sea until the fucking scene out of Jaws where the head comes out the boat underwater.
Oi.
That literally, I jumped from one sofa in the front room to the other when
Fuck
that happened.
that. Yeah.
And that completely changed my concept of the sea forever.
Same as arachnophobia with spiders. And it wasn't a scary film. I watched it with the kids and I was like, this is fucking scary.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're going to be into this. It's proper scary. It's the longest film. And
But then the thing is, it's like when you revisit some stuff and like what we were watching the other day. I was putting something on to show V, and it was like an old comedy that's not particularly old for us.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I was like, we can watch this, and as I put it on, I'm like, this is terrible. This is like when The Exorcist was finally released on DVD, right? So I got a copy of it.
Oh.
I was still living with my parents at the time. I was, what was I, 18 or 19?
yeah, it was 98. I'd got together with Stacey.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So I'd have been 17. So I said to Exorcist.
Margaret.
So I said to Mum and Dad, I'm gonna go upstairs and watch The Exorcist now. And my dad's like freezes, and he never does anything like that. But my dad, he was like, "You can just go and watch it, just
with the lights off.
yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Let me know how it is when you like." He was like genuinely nervous for me.
Wow.
So he'd been to see it at the cinema when he was young, but obviously his concept of a horror movie at the time was nothing like what The Exorcist was. And when you watch that my dad was born in 1964, so it would have been like mid-70s, late 70s. He would have been sort of 14, I think. He watched it and then walked home to an empty house where my grandparents were either at work or at the pub or whatever. So like the digestion of the movie and then the incubation of it for him was entirely different.
Yeah, because when
and
you
he
watch
kept a hold of that. Yeah, I watched it. I was like,
the fuck am I missing? Pea soup.
Yeah.
But there was no...
Could have come in a box set with Drop Dead Fred for me. It wasn't that bad.
But there wasn't any behind the scenes. There wasn't any how it's made. So when you've watched someone pull the kid across the stage with a rope, that like because it was so ingrained. Like my dad did a similar thing with my uncle. Like I say, they lived in Sheffield. They were super poor. My uncle Tony had got a date. They'd watched, is it The Hand or something? It just sort of follows them around.
The Thing. Is it?
It was basically, all I know what is it took a hand because my dad nailed a glove on their front room door. So when he walked his girlfriend home, came back, and as he got to the end of their drive, their like little path, he saw a glove and shit his pants walking in the house. After watching the same thing, because you don't know how they've done that.
Sticks in your brain, doesn't it?
Yeah. The Exorcist fucked me more than anything because the film wasn't scary. But my mate at the time, Dean, we were good mates, me, Dean and Mike, and they were ones, they got me into boxing and MMA. They're like, I basically left school so fresh-faced, fucking clueless. And I went to art college and I met Dean and Mike, and they smoked weed, they played video games, they had their own flat, and I was like, this is the fucking tits. It was like men behaving badly, but really experiencing cool shit. And we used to watch a lot of films because there was a video shop across the road. Now, this shows you how much I wouldn't watch scary movies. I didn't like scary films because I didn't like being scared. I don't like being made jump. Now, if someone makes me, my automatic reaction is punch them. Yeah. And I've even told Stacey's dad, we've got like an agreement. If I ever fill her in, it wasn't on purpose. It's because she made me fucking jump. And we've had words. So one time going to the video shop, I took a video rental tab. You know, the red one that says it's rented, you can't have it. Yeah. So basically, there was the video wall. And if the box was clear, you could take the box to the counter and they give you the thing. If it had a red tab, like a triangle sat in the top, it means it's rented. I took